Welcome to our coin journey. Today we are exploring the fascinating story of the 1943 P. Jefferson Nickel, a historic American coin produced during World War II. This special war nickel was created when the United States Mint changed the metal composition of the coin to help conserve nickel for military use. Featuring the portrait of Thomas Jefferson and the image of Monticello, this coin is not only a piece of currency, but also an important symbol of American history. Let's discover why this unique wartime nickel is so interesting to collectors, and how some rare examples can be worth much more than their face value. Top 10. The 1943 P. Jefferson Nickel is one of the most interesting coins in United States numismatic history. It was produced during the difficult years of World War II, when the United States government had to change the metal composition of several coins to support the war effort. The Jefferson Nickel series itself originally began in 1938, replacing the earlier Buffalo nickel design. The coin features a portrait of Thomas Jefferson, the third president of the United States, on the obverse, while the reverse shows his famous home Monticello in Virginia. The design was created by German-American sculptor Felix Schlag, whose artwork won a public competition organized by the United States Mint. In 1943, the United States faced a shortage of nickel metal because it was critically needed for military equipment such as armor plating and weapons. To conserve nickel for the war, the United States Mint introduced a special wartime composition for the Jefferson Nickel. Instead of the traditional 75% copper and 25% nickel mixture, the 1943 nickel was made from 56% copper, 35% silver, and 9% manganese. Because of this unusual metal mixture, these coins are often called war nickels. This change made the coin slightly lighter in color and gave it a different magnetic and chemical behavior compared to regular nickels. The P mint mark on the 1943 Jefferson Nickel is historically important. For the first time in U.S. coinage history, the United States Mint placed a large P mint mark above the Monticello building on the reverse of the coin to indicate it was produced at the Philadelphia Mint. Before this period, coins from Philadelphia usually had no mint mark, so the large P was a major change that helped the government easily identify and later remove the Silver Alley wartime nickels from circulation if needed. The design details of the 1943 P. Jefferson Nickel are distinctive and attractive. The obverse displays a left-facing portrait of Thomas Jefferson with the inscriptions "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the date 1943. On the reverse, the detailed image of Monticello appears in the center, with the inscriptions EPLURIBUSUNUM, Monticello, 5 cents, and United States of America. Above the building is the large P mint mark, which is much bigger than mint marks used in earlier or later coins. The coin weighs 5 grams and has a diameter of 21.2 millimeters, maintaining the same size as earlier nickels despite the change in metal composition. In terms of rarity, the 1943 P. Jefferson Nickel is not extremely rare because millions were produced to meet circulation demand during wartime. However, collectors value the coin for its historical significance and silver content. Coins in uncirculated condition with sharp details and original luster can be worth significantly more than face value. High-grade examples certified by professional grading companies can sell for hundreds of dollars, and coins with strong strike quality or special characteristics are highly sought after by collectors. Another fascinating aspect of the 1943 P nickel is the presence of error coins in varieties. Some coins show double die errors, repunched mint marks, or die cracks, which can greatly increase their value. Because the coins were produced quickly during wartime, small production mistakes sometimes occurred. These error coins are highly collectible and can sell for much higher prices than normal examples. Today, the 1943 P. Jefferson Nickel remains an important piece of American history. It represents a time when the United States adjusted everyday currency to support the war effort. Collectors appreciate it not only for its silver content, but also for its connection to World War II and the innovative changes made by the United States Mint. Even decades later, these wartime nickels continue to be popular among both beginner and advanced coin collectors around the world. Next up, the 1945 P. Jefferson nickel is one of the most historically significant coins in American numismatics. It was produced during the final year of World War II, a time when the United States was heavily focused on supporting the war effort. Because nickel metal was considered a strategic material needed for military equipment, the U.S. Mint temporarily changed the composition of the 5-cent coin from 1942 to 1945. Instead of the normal copper-nickel alloy, the 1945 Jefferson nickel was made using a special wartime alloy consisting of 56% copper, 35% silver, and 9% manganese. This unique composition is why these coins are often called war nickels. The presence of silver makes them especially interesting for collectors and investors even today. The Jefferson nickel series itself began in 1938, replacing the earlier buffalo nickel design. The coin features a portrait of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse, honoring one of the most influential founding fathers of the United States. The reverse side displays Monticello, Jefferson's famous estate. The design was created by sculptor Felix Schlag, whose artwork won a national competition organized by the United States Mint. His design became one of the longest-running coin designs in American history. The 1945 P. Jefferson nickel was minted at the Philadelphia Mint, which used the large P mint mark above the Monticello building on the reverse side. This was historically important because it was the first time the Philadelphia Mint used a mint mark on a U.S. coin intended for circulation. The large mint mark helped the government easily identify the special wartime composition coins. In 1945, the Philadelphia Mint produced 119,408,100 coins, making it one of the highest mintages in the Jefferson Nickel wartime series. The coin weighs 5 grams and has a diameter of 21.2 millimeters, maintaining the same size as earlier nickels despite the metal change. Although millions of these coins were produced, high-quality examples in uncirculated condition are still sought after by collectors. Coins that have sharp details, strong luster, and minimal wear can be significantly more valuable. Some of the most valuable pieces are those graded MS-67 or higher, which are extremely difficult to find because many war nickels circulated heavily during and after the war. In addition, collectors look for full steps varieties, where the steps of Monticello are clearly visible and fully struck. These well-struck coins can command much higher prices in auctions. There are also a few known minting errors and varieties associated with the 1945 P. Jefferson nickel. These include doubled dies, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, and lamination errors. Error coins can be very collectible because they are rare and visually distinctive. While most regular circulated 1945 P nickels are worth only a few dollars due to their silver content, rare high-grade or error examples can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars in the numismatic market. The record auction prices for top-graded coins demonstrate the strong demand among collectors who specialize in wartime American coinage. Today, the 1945 P. Jefferson nickel remains an important historical artifact that represents the economic and industrial challenges of World War II. Its unique silver composition, the historic first use of the Philadelphia P. mint mark, and its connection to the wartime period make it a fascinating coin for collectors around the world. Even though many examples still exist, finding one in excellent condition or with a rare error can be extremely exciting. For both beginner collectors and experienced numismatists, this coin continues to symbolize an important chapter in American history and the evolution of the United States coinage system. Next up, the 1964 Jefferson Nickel is one of the most interesting coins from the early 1960s in American numismatic history. This coin was produced during a time when the United States economy was growing rapidly, and the demand for small denomination coins was extremely high. The Jefferson Nickel series itself began in 1938, replacing the earlier Buffalo nickel design. By 1964, the design featuring President Thomas Jefferson had already been in circulation for more than 2 decades. The 1964 issue without a mint mark was struck at the United States Mint facility in Philadelphia, which traditionally did not use a mint mark on coins during that era. The history of the 1964 Jefferson Nickel is closely connected to a nationwide coin shortage in the early 1960s. During this time, many people began hoarding coins because of rising silver prices and general concerns about currency changes. Although nickels did not contain silver, they were still affected by the shortage because people were collecting or saving coins rather than spending them. In response, the United States Mint dramatically increased production in 1964. As a result, the Philadelphia Mint struck more than 1 billion Jefferson nickels that year, making it one of the highest mintage nickel coins in American history. Because of this massive production, the 1964 nickel without a mint mark is very common in circulation today. The design of the coin remained consistent with the classic Jefferson nickel style created by sculptor Felix Schlag. On the obverse side of the coin, there is a left-facing portrait of Thomas Jefferson, along with the inscriptions Liberty and the year 1964. The reverse side features Monticello, Jefferson's famous Virginia estate. Surrounding the building are the inscriptions EPLURIBUSUNUM, Monticello, 5 cents, and United States of America. The coin is made from a copper-nickel alloy consisting of 75% copper and 25% nickel, with a weight of 5 grams and a diameter of 21.21 millimeters. Although the 1964 Jefferson nickel without a mint mark is generally common, certain varieties and high-grade examples can still be valuable to collectors. Coins that are preserved in uncirculated condition, especially those with strong details and minimal marks, are sought after by numismatists. Some coins also display the full steps variety on the Monticello building, where the steps at the base of the structure appear clearly separated. These full steps coins are much rarer and can sell for significantly higher prices at auction. Additionally, minor mint errors such as die cracks, doubled dies, or off-center strikes may increase the value of individual coins. In terms of market value, most circulated 1964 Jefferson nickels without a mint mark are worth only a small amount above their face value of 5 cents. However, uncirculated specimens or certified high-grade examples can be worth several dollars or more. Exceptional coins graded at the highest levels by professional grading services have sold for hundreds of dollars at auctions. The value largely depends on the coin's condition, rarity of the variety, and demand among collectors. Today, the 1964 Jefferson nickel remains an important piece of American coinage history. It represents the final year before major changes in U.S. coin production policies, including the removal of silver from many coins in 1965. For collectors and historians alike, the 1964 issue tells the story of a unique period when the United States Mint worked overtime to produce enough coins to meet the nation's needs. Even though it is common, it continues to hold educational and historical significance in the study of modern American coins. Next up, the 1944 P. Jefferson Nickel is one of the most historically important coins produced by the United States Mint during World War II. This coin was part of the famous War Nickel series that was minted between 1942 and 1945. During the war, nickel metal was considered a strategic material needed for military equipment such as armor plating and weapons. Because of this shortage, the U.S. government decided to change the composition of the 5-cent coin. The 1944 P. Jefferson nickel was produced using a special alloy that contained 35% silver, 56% copper, and 9% manganese, instead of the traditional copper-nickel mixture. This temporary change makes these coins historically unique and very interesting for collectors today. The design of the 1944 P. Jefferson nickel features the portrait of Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States. The obverse front of the coin was designed by the sculptor Felix Schlag, whose design won a national competition organized by the U.S. Mint in 1938. Jefferson's left-facing portrait appears on the front along with the inscriptions "Liberty," "In God We Trust," and the year 1944. On the reverse back, the coin shows Monticello, the historic home of Thomas Jefferson. Above the building appears the word Monticello, while the bottom includes 5 cents and United States of America, along with the national motto EPLURIBUS UNUM. The design remained largely unchanged for many decades, making the Jefferson nickel one of the longest-running coin designs in American history. One of the most distinctive features of the 1944 P. Jefferson nickel is its large mint mark, P, placed above the Monticello building on the reverse side. This was the first time in U.S. history that the Philadelphia Mint used the letter P as a mint mark on circulating coins. The large mint mark allowed the government to easily identify war nickels so they could later be removed from circulation and melted down to recover the silver after the war. The coin weighs about 5 grams and has a diameter of 21.2 millimeters, which is the standard size for Jefferson nickels. In 1944, the Philadelphia Mint produced a very large quantity of these coins, with a mintage of over 119 million pieces, ensuring that enough 5-cent coins were available for everyday commerce during the wartime economy. Although the mintage was high, the 1944 P. Jefferson nickel still attracts strong interest among coin collectors because of its silver content and historical significance. Many of these coins circulated heavily during the 1940s and 1950s, which means well-preserved examples are harder to find today. Coins in mint state condition with strong details and minimal wear can be much more valuable than common circulated pieces. Additionally, collectors pay close attention to the full steps designation on the Monticello building. If the steps of Monticello appear fully defined and unbroken, the coin can receive the full steps FS grading label, which greatly increases its value and desirability. The 1944 P. Jefferson nickel also has several interesting varieties and minor mint errors that collectors look for. These include doubled dies, off-center strikes, and other small production mistakes that occurred during the minting process. While most examples are worth only a modest premium above their silver value, rare high-grade pieces or special varieties can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars at auction. The historical connection to World War II, combined with its unique metal composition and distinctive mint mark, makes the 1944 P. Jefferson nickel an important piece of American numismatic history. Today it remains a popular coin among both beginner and advanced collectors who appreciate coins that tell the story of a nation during a critical time in world history. Next up, the 1981 P. Jefferson nickel is part of the long-running Jefferson nickel, one of the most familiar coins in American pocket change. This coin features the portrait of Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States and the principal author of the United States Declaration of Independence. The Jefferson nickel series replaced the earlier Buffalo nickel design in 1938 and has continued, with some design updates, into modern times. The 1981 issue with the P mint mark was produced at the United States Mint facility in Philadelphia Mint, which for most of its history did not use a mint mark on nickels, making the 1981 P issue part of the modern era when Philadelphia coins began carrying the P mark. The history of the Jefferson nickel design dates back to 1938, when the United States Mint held a design competition to replace the Buffalo nickel. The winning design came from German-American sculptor Felix Schlag. His design featured a left-facing portrait of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and his historic home, Monticello, on the reverse. This design remained largely unchanged for decades, including the 1981 P issue. During the early 1980s, the United States was experiencing economic challenges such as inflation and high metal costs, but the composition of the nickel remained stable. Unlike the special wartime nickels made during World War II, which contained silver, the 1981 P nickel returned to the traditional composition of 75% copper and 25% nickel. The key physical features of the 1981 P Jefferson nickel reflect the standard specifications used for this coin series for many decades. The coin weighs approximately 5 grams and has a diameter of 21.21 millimeters with a plain edge. On the obverse side, Jefferson's portrait is surrounded by the inscriptions Liberty, the year 1981, and the motto In God We Trust. The small P mint mark appears near Jefferson's shoulder, indicating that the coin was struck in Philadelphia. On the reverse side, the detailed image of Monticello is displayed along with the inscriptions EPLURIBUSUNUM, Monticello, 5 cents, and United States of America. In 1981, the Philadelphia Mint produced hundreds of millions of these coins for circulation, making them very common in everyday change during that time. Although the 1981 P Jefferson nickel is generally considered a common coin, it still attracts collectors because of the Jefferson Nickel series, long history and popularity. Most circulated examples are only worth their face value or slightly more. However, coins in uncirculated condition with strong details and original mint luster can be worth several dollars, especially those graded at high mint state levels by professional grading services. Collectors also look for coins with exceptional strikes, clean surfaces, and full details on the Monticello building, which can significantly increase desirability. There are also some minor varieties and minting issues known among 1981 P nickels, though none are extremely rare. These may include off-center strikes, die cracks, double die effects, or weak strikes caused by worn dies at the mint. Such mint errors can increase a coin's value depending on their severity and rarity. High-grade examples of the 1981 P Jefferson nickel have occasionally sold at auctions for tens or even a few $100s, especially if they are in near-perfect condition such as MS66 or higher. Today, the 1981 P Jefferson nickel remains an important part of modern American coinage history. While it may not be among the rarest coins, it represents a period when the Jefferson nickel design had already become a classic symbol of U.S. currency. For collectors and numismatists, studying coins like the 1981 P provides insight into the production methods, economic conditions, and artistic traditions of the United States Mint during the late 20th century. Even common coins like this one can become valuable pieces of history when preserved in excellent condition and appreciated for their historical background. Next up, the 1982 D Jefferson nickel is part of the long-running Jefferson Nickel series of the United States. This coin was produced in 1982 at the Denver Mint, which is represented by the small D mint mark located on the obverse side of the coin to the right of the portrait. The Jefferson Nickel series first began in 1938, replacing the earlier Buffalo nickel. The design honors Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States and the main author of the United States Declaration of Independence. By 1982, the coin had already been circulating for over 4 decades and remained an important part of everyday American commerce. The obverse front of the 1982 D Jefferson nickel features a left-facing portrait of Thomas Jefferson, originally designed by the German-American sculptor Felix Schlag. His design won a competition organized by the United States Mint in 1938. Around the portrait appear the inscriptions In God We Trust, Liberty, and the year 1982. The reverse back of the coin displays Monticello, Jefferson's famous home in Virginia. Above the building is the word Monticello, while EPLURIBUSUNUM appears above it and United States of America with 5 cents appears below. The 1982 D. Jefferson nickel was struck using the standard composition used for nickels since 1946, 75% copper and 25% nickel. The coin weighs 5 grams and has a diameter of 21.21 millimeters with a smooth edge. During 1982, the Denver Mint produced more than 623 million of these coins for circulation, making it a very common issue in the series. Because of this high mintage, most examples found today in pocket change are generally worth only their face value unless they are in exceptionally high mint condition. Although the 1982 D. Jefferson nickel is not considered rare, collectors still search for coins in mint state MS condition or those with strong strikes and original luster. Some collectors also look for minor minting errors, such as off-center strikes, die cracks, clipped planchets, or doubled dies. While such errors are uncommon, they can significantly increase the coin's value depending on the severity and collector demand. In terms of value, a typical circulated 1982 D. Jefferson nickel is usually worth 5 cents, the same as its face value. However, uncirculated examples graded MS65 or higher by professional grading services can sell for several dollars, and exceptionally high-grade specimens have sold at auction for tens or even hundreds of dollars. The value depends greatly on the coin's condition, strike quality, and preservation over time. Today, the 1982 D. Jefferson nickel remains an interesting collectible for beginners and experienced numismatists alike. While it is not one of the rarest coins in the Jefferson nickel series, it represents an important part of modern American coinage history and reflects the continued legacy of Thomas Jefferson and his historic home Monticello on United States currency. Many collectors keep these coins as part of complete Dayton mint-marked Jefferson nickel collections, preserving a small but meaningful piece of American numismatic heritage. Next up, the 1978 Jefferson nickel is a part of the long-running Jefferson nickel that has been produced by the United States Mint since 1938. The coin features the portrait of Thomas Jefferson, one of the most influential figures in American history and the author of the United States Declaration of Independence. The 1978 nickel without a mint mark was struck at the Philadelphia Mint because coins produced in Philadelphia during that period typically did not carry a mint mark. This coin continued the classic Jefferson nickel design that had already been used for decades, making it a familiar and widely circulated coin in the United States economy. The design of the 1978 Jefferson nickel was originally created by German-American sculptor Felix Schlag, whose design won a national competition organized by the United States Mint in 1938. On the obverse front of the coin, the left-facing portrait of Thomas Jefferson appears with the inscriptions "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the year 1978. The reverse back displays the historic home of Jefferson, Monticello, along with the inscriptions EPLURIBUSUNUM, Monticello, 5 cents, and United States of America. The coin is composed of a copper-nickel-clad alloy containing 75% copper and 25% nickel. It has a weight of approximately 5 grams and a diameter of 21.2 millimeters, which are standard specifications for the Jefferson Nickel series. The historical background of the 1978 Jefferson Nickel reflects the economic environment of the United States during the late 1970s. This was a time when inflation and economic changes influenced coin production and circulation. Millions of nickels were produced at the Philadelphia Mint in 1978 to meet the everyday needs of commerce. Because the coin was minted in large numbers, it was commonly used in daily transactions such as vending machines, public telephones, and small purchases. Despite its ordinary use, the coin remains historically interesting for collectors who study mint production and coin circulation patterns of that era. Although the 1978 Jefferson nickel without a mint mark is generally common, certain varieties and errors can make specific coins valuable. Collectors look for minting errors such as off-center strikes, doubled dies, clipped planchets, or die cracks. High-grade examples, especially those in uncirculated condition with full steps visible on Monticello, are more desirable in the numismatic market. Coins graded in very high mint state levels can sell for significantly higher prices than ordinary circulated pieces. In exceptional cases, a pristine specimen graded MS-66 or higher by professional grading services has sold for several $100s at auction. Today, the 1978 Jefferson nickel without a mint mark continues to be a part of the broader history of the Jefferson nickel. While most examples are still worth only face value, collectors remain interested in high-quality pieces and unusual mint errors. The coin serves as a reminder of the long tradition of American coinage honoring Thomas Jefferson and the architectural symbol of his home, Monticello, which has appeared on the reverse of the nickel for many decades. For numismatists, the 1978 issue represents both a piece of everyday American history and a collectible item that reflects the craftsmanship of the United States Mint. Next up, the 1984 D. Jefferson nickel is a United States 5-cent coin that was produced at the Denver Mint in 1984. It belongs to the long-running Jefferson Nickel series, which was first introduced in 1938 to replace the older Buffalo nickel. The coin features the portrait of Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States and one of the most influential founding fathers. The Jefferson Nickel series was designed to honor Jefferson's legacy and his contributions to American democracy, including the drafting of the Declaration of Independence. By 1984, the coin had already been in circulation for more than 4 decades and was one of the most commonly used coins in everyday American transactions. The design of the 1984 D. Jefferson nickel was created by the American sculptor Felix Schlag, whose winning design was selected by the United States Mint in 1938. On the obverse front side of the coin is a left-facing portrait of Thomas Jefferson, along with the inscriptions Liberty, In God We Trust, and the year 1984. The reverse side displays Jefferson's famous home, Monticello, along with the words EPLURIBUSUNUM, Monticello, 5 cents, and United States of America. The small D mint mark on the coin indicates that it was struck at the Denver Mint, which is one of the major facilities responsible for producing circulating U.S. coins. In terms of specifications, the 1984 D. Jefferson nickel is composed of 75% copper and 25% nickel, a metal composition that has been used for most Jefferson nickels since the series began. The coin weighs 5 grams and has a diameter of 21.21 millimeters, with a smooth edge. Millions of these coins were produced in 1984, making them common in circulation during the 1980s. However, collectors still seek high-quality, uncirculated examples, especially those with strong details and minimal marks. Coins that are graded in very high mint state condition by professional grading services can be worth significantly more than their face value. Although the 1984 D. Jefferson nickel is generally considered a common coin, some varieties and mint errors can increase its value to collectors. Examples of such errors include double die strikes, off-center strikes, die cracks, or clipped planchets. These minting mistakes occur during the coin production process and can make certain pieces unique or rare. While most 1984 D nickels are only worth their face value in circulated condition, pristine examples or error coins can sell for higher prices in the numismatic market. For collectors of modern U.S. coins, the 1984 D. Jefferson nickel remains an interesting piece that represents the everyday currency of America during the mid-1980s and continues the long tradition of honoring Thomas Jefferson on the 5-cent coin. Next up, the 1989 Jefferson Nickel is a modern American coin that belongs to the long-running Jefferson Nickel series, one of the most recognizable coins in United States history. The Jefferson Nickel was first introduced in 1938 to replace the earlier Buffalo nickel design. The coin features the portrait of Thomas Jefferson, one of the most influential founding fathers and the principal author of the United States Declaration of Independence. The 1989 D version was produced at the Denver Mint, which is indicated by the small D mint mark located on the obverse front of the coin, to the right of Jefferson's portrait. During the late 1980s, the United States Mint was producing billions of coins each year to keep up with the demand for circulating currency, and the 1989 D nickel was part of this large production era. The design of the 1989 D Jefferson Nickel follows the classic style created by German-American sculptor Felix Schlag, whose design was chosen in a national competition in 1938. On the front of the coin is a left-facing portrait of Thomas Jefferson along with the inscriptions "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the year 1989. The reverse back of the coin shows Monticello, Jefferson's famous Virginia estate. Surrounding the building are the inscriptions EPLURIBUSUNUM, Monticello, 5 cents, and United States of America. The coin is composed of a copper-nickel-clad alloy consisting of 75% copper and 25% nickel. It weighs approximately 5 grams and has a diameter of 21.21 millimeters with a plain edge. These specifications have remained largely unchanged for the Jefferson Nickel series since 1946. The 1989 D Jefferson Nickel was minted in very large numbers, with more than 570 million coins produced at the Denver Mint alone. Because of this high mintage, the coin is very common in circulation and is still occasionally found in pocket change today. However, collectors often search for well-preserved examples in mint state (MS) condition, especially those with strong luster and minimal contact marks. Coins graded at the highest levels by professional grading services can sometimes sell for higher prices among collectors who specialize in modern coin sets. Although the 1989 D nickel is not considered rare in general circulation, pristine specimens with exceptional quality can still attract attention in the numismatic market. Another interesting aspect of the 1989 D Jefferson Nickel is the possibility of mint errors and varieties. Some collectors have reported coins with off-center strikes, die cracks, clipped planchets, or double die characteristics, though these are relatively uncommon. Error coins often become more valuable because they are unique mistakes made during the minting process. For example, a dramatic off-center strike or a coin struck on the wrong planchet can bring significantly higher prices at auction compared to a normal coin. As a result, collectors carefully inspect their 1989 D nickels for unusual features that could increase their value. In today's coin market, a typical circulated 1989 D Jefferson nickel is usually worth its face value of 5 cents. However, uncirculated examples in high-grade condition may sell for a few dollars, and coins with certified grades such as MS-65 or higher can command premium prices. Error coins or coins with exceptional strike quality may sell for even more depending on their rarity and collector demand. While it may not be one of the most valuable coins in American history, the 1989 D Jefferson Nickel remains an important part of the long-running Jefferson Nickel series and represents a piece of everyday American currency from the late 20th century. For many collectors, it serves as a reminder that even common coins can hold historical significance and collectible appeal.